slow, but I mean, at the same time, somebody like Graves, who has a lot of burst, synergizes extremely well with the Taric ultimate, and I just didn't see the Taric ultimate utilized like it needed to be.
We have a Tautram, I think that's how you pronounce his name, in chat says, what should Kate do? I believe referencing my previous comment. She already should understand the bot lane mechanics. It seems if she was getting caught, she would learn to predict. I'm not talking about whether her getting caught out by Baron and subsequent fights later on in the game. Just earlier on in the game, Thresh was able to poke her down so far, and it didn't seem like Tarek provided the sustain that he normally does. So she was so far behind. What else? I guess that's where my question stems from, is what else was she supposed to do besides just try to do as much damage as she could by getting her boots and Vamp Scepter early?
Right, I would have liked to see boots earlier. I think that she could have dodged some of the Varus Qs a little more easily, but I think that she needed to just focus on CSing, be extremely passive, and not try to trade with them, because Tarek's job is, as he's a very tanky support, is to stand out in front of you and take the brunt of the assault, stun people, and make them pay for it. But with Thresh, that's really scary because of his grab, his knockback, his lantern can bring in ganks.
Speaking of Thresh, don't mean to interrupt you, but Blue Team has just banned Thresh.
There it is. I mean, that's one of the bans that should happen almost every game. I mean, he's
and you also see the Mumu ban we talked about earlier and the Cho'Gath target ban. So it does seem like the bans we talked about previously are the bans that they're really focusing on.
Right.
We're also getting suggestions from Nagy in the chat to play the highlight reel. I don't know what that means.
All right.
I hope it's clean. I don't know what the
it might be too long. We'll have to keep an eye on it after the picks. When we have all that time to talk and we don't really need to talk that much, then we'll play it. There's the Hecarim ban. Nobody picked Hecarim last game. I still think it's a solid ban, but if you notice, there is a respect ban in Vladimir, and Vladimir was very scary for Blue Team last game, and I think that that's a solid ban. I mean, he played amazingly, and he almost turned it around.
No, I agree. He definitely, as I said, I think one of the biggest parts about Kate getting caught out during that fight during Baron wasn't that Kate got caught out, but that Vladimir also got caught out with her, and it destroyed any chance that they had at contesting that Baron.
And 50 Ninjas has picked Graves, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tark pick with this Graves, and I think that would be, I don't know if he's taunting or trolling or like just a little slap in the face, like this is how you play Tark, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that.
We see, I think you just shorted 150 ninjas, about 100 ninjas there if you do the math.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, he seems to have a fan club also in the chat, but he seems to pick up Graves. I don't know if he's planning on playing Graves. I highly doubt it. They seem that he might want to go for Lux. We'll see what he can do if he does.
Noobs is picking up a Nivea. If we recall, Noobs was in the top lane last game, so he's looking like he's going to be trading it. I think that I don't know if Anivia is somebody's plays well with Anivia, because Anivia was banned last game, and I don't know if that was a respect ban or.
No, that's true. I'm assuming it was a respect ban because you don't see Anivia bans that often.
Right. It looks like Agent Smith's going to stick with Varus, and why not? It worked for him last game. I think it'll work for this game. He did a great job in landing Qs.
We got JD with a request from Mangreaves. Yeah, will you cut your hair on stream? I hope he will. I hope he will.
We got a Lulu show, which isn't bad with Graves. It's a pretty good poke between the Q, both of the Qs actually. Lulu is actually one of my favorite supports to watch. I just think just amazingly fun champion to play. She has all these manipulating tools. Her poke does a lot of damage and it slows. She's got her Whimsy, which can speed somebody up to catch and give them a little AP, or it can turn them into a squirrel so they can't attack. So I mean, and she has a shield on top of it, and she can do decent damage with her poke. So she's a lot of fun to watch. And coupled with the Nocturne, I think that a nice slow, maybe a Whimsy here or there, and Nocturne ults in, and I think it's going to be a rough lane for Purple Team this game. Or World War... whatever. Aftermath. I'm just going to call him Aftermath.
World War I Aftermath?
Yeah.
Is that the team with that was Blue Team last time, correct?
Yes, correct. That's Purple Team.
Blue Team last time. And then we have, what is the other team name? I'm sorry, I was not paying attention. Blackstar. I think Blackstar, once again, they had a really good chance to come back after getting two separate dragons. I think that if they have the same mentality going into this game, that they're playing from behind, but they have a little bit more pointed of a comp, which seems like they already do, that they have a much greater chance at winning this game.
Yeah, and if you see Calman has picked up Blitzcrank this time, so maybe he's saying, hey, if you're going to grab me with Thresh and you don't ban Blitz, I'm going to grab him and then grab you. So we'll see. I'm not sure how I feel about the Olaf pick. He is one of my favorite champions, but ever since his nerf in Season 3, I mean, he was doing great. He was killing everybody, and then they were like, whoa, Olaf, you're too good. And to pick him blind into that, to let Irelia pick a counter to him, it's a little scary.
And once again, we see not once again, I guess is the first time we have seen Sejuani being picked, but it seems like Purple Team, World War I Aftermath, has a nice team comp again. They have a really strong lane, and Varus, we've already seen his Varus before. We see Blitzcrank, which makes that even more potent, and then we see a Olaf, which is very hard to CC, but Sejuani with that area of effect ult, and Anivia dealing damage with her ult, it's going to be very difficult.
Right, I mean, since Sej's rework, she's a menace. She can be all over the place. She has a lot of slows. Her ult can catch an entire team. That's the CC that I'm talking about that Blackstar needs this game. And I like the pick.
I agree with you, but I also like Blue Team or Blackstar's picks as well. If you look at the Nasus that we saw previously, I think that he's a very good champ. He's very tanky, and he can do a lot of damage, less so in the jungle than on top lane. But if you see a Nocturne, it gives him a little bit more potency in every lane, and his ult makes him very, very difficult to deal with and predict.
Well, I'm sorry. Actually, the CC from Sejuani is on the crowd control team from last game. That was Aftermath.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I like though the Zyra. Zyra has a lot of crowd control. I think that's one of the things they need. I'm not sure how I feel about her going mid against Anivia though, so we'll have to see about that. I think that Lulu has some good controlling effects, a lot of slows, so I like the change a little bit. Irelia has that stun. I hope you didn't just say that because I was kind of zoned out reading the chat. So we'll just have to see.
Don't pay attention to the chat. Me and the chat have a loving relationship.
They do. You guys do. The chat loves your beautiful face.
Oh, no, that's not it.
I love it, too. I'd stare at it all day.
I have a face for chat. I'll put it that way. But I like what you're saying before about the Zyra. I think her ult actually puts a little bit of a foil in Purple Team's composition right now. They have a very slow-moving Anivia, and they have a very central target CC champion with Blitzcrank. He's not going to be able to get to the champs to CC them effectively if he's getting snared, and there's a big area of effect ult by Zyra. And they also have a lot of single-target damage that they didn't have last game with Graves' pick.
I agree. I definitely like the Irelia pick. I think that's the tankiness that they're going to need. If you notice, this time she actually took exhaust, so I don't know if Fodlin took it because of Noob's last game, Noobs will own you. He's not a noob, but because of his Riven play, or if that's how he's going to play Irelia, I'm not sure.
I agree. I agree. Once again, I think you bring up a very good point that he's playing very similar to the way, or at least what we see right now, is at least positioning himself very similar to what we saw the Riven position herself last game. But if you see Noobs, he also takes Exhaust and also takes Ghost, which is standard picks on Olaf, but doesn't give him once again, that potent damage that Olaf needs, I think, after his nerf.
Oh yeah, I agree. Health is great on Olaf, but he's just having a rough time. His W doesn't do the regen he needs. His Q has been nerfed, so he's a lot slower in the jungle. And, I mean, if you play him well, you can definitely win lane with him. So we'll have to see. I like his Undertow, but I think like I said, that when you pick up the Axe, the extra, I think it was like 3 or 4 seconds added to the cooldown really hurts him. Although I would not be surprised. I'm a fan of leveling Undertow first, but I would not be surprised if Olaf goes for the true damage of Reckless Swing against Irelia.
Do you think that'll work out for him, or do you think that she will be able to duel him in lane a little bit better?
I mean, with her stun and her sustain, I think that she'll be okay. But I think that Olaf's going to look to Reckless Swing whenever he can. Maybe toss an Undertow, run in, Reckless Swing, and get out. But we'll have to see. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. I also like the fact that they went with a Lulu. I think their range in lane is going to be severely it's going to be punished in lane because we see Agent Smith with that Varus and the grabs of Blitz. I think that's going to play more of it's going to be more of an issue for that Graves Lulu comp. But late game, a Whimsy on Graves fully farmed is going to be a very dangerous thing for that team comp, especially for the Anivia, who can barely get away to begin with.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And Whimsy works the total other way also. I mean, if someone's coming in and dealing a lot of damage, you Whimsy someone. A second and a half in a team fight is a lot of missed damage. And so that's what I like, the versatility of Lulu. It makes the player think and make choices, so you get to really see like the character of the person playing Lulu.
That's true. I mean, we'll see how they decide to play it. The skin battle seems to be even as of right now, depending if I think Varus, you've got to have a skin. You had one last time, so the skin battle goes to World War I aftermath again.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, Broloff is just out there chugging. What else do college students do, right?
That's right.
School
I guess
what?
it is Broloff. I did not see that.
Yeah, it is
skin. So
Broloff.
it looks like they're going to win regardless.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Black Frost and Nivea, I believe, is isn't that a legendary skin?
It is a legendary skin.
If you notice, maybe we'll be able to see it in this game here, that the Nivea skin seems like it is louder than all the other skins. It makes her character louder than anything else in the entire game. We'll have to see if that is the case.
I'm being hounded by Joe to play this video, but we're going to have to wait and hope that there's a Game 3, or maybe we could get the video post-game, but we'll definitely play it, so cool your jets, bro. It's all good. As Broloff would say, your mom.
As Broloff would say, your mom, bro. But the highlight reel, I mean, I don't know if it's probably a highlight reel from the last game we watched. I'm sure that fight around Baron is in there. I'm sure the fight around his dragons were in there. And I think that it'll be neat to see those again if that's in fact what they are.
Oh, man. We still have... Agent Smith is not connected on my screen, or...
I see Agent Smith as well. We may have to back out and remake this game if he does not get in, or at least get a pause to see if he can get back into the game. He did have problems, from what I know, connecting earlier as well. So it might be a...
and just as you say that, we get into the game. I don't know if Agent Smith is actually in-game, though. Nope, he is not. The pause goes down, so we have gratuitous amounts of time to talk about stuff.
We don't see any items. Unfortunately, they didn't pause after. We could go to something interesting to talk about. But do you think that the blue team this time is going to utilize those big golems bot lane, or the double golems bot lane to kind of farm up that Graves, or do you think that they're going to just pass by them like they did last time?
I don't know. Since the jungle change, a lot of people are afraid to take it early. I know that a lot of enemy bot lanes like to come in and make sure you're not taking it. You take a lot of damage from it, so it could be adverse. If you notice, though, it looks like Zyra has gone support masteries. She does have a Biscuiteer, so maybe they're going to be looking for an early invade with the Biscuit.
Do you think they're going to restart here? Or you think they're just going to allow Agent Smith to reconnect? I don't know if you can do that while you're in a pause screen or a custom game, but I'm assuming that you can.
Yeah, you can reconnect. I think they'll wait a while and see what happens. I know, like you said, he did have trouble loading in originally, but that was because of the update was taking him a while to download, so...
Master F says, "LOL, the Biscuit invade OP." I've been a part of some Biscuit invades in my past, and they are not overpowered.
Let me tell you
right now.
Let me tell you.
No.
Shryukin actually is just corrected me on the University of Cincinnati LoL rules. He says that one restart is allowed per team, and they can have a 10-minute wait period.
Time before 10 minutes. Is this considered, since it's paused before the 10 minutes or not?
I think that it's once the pause timer gets down to 20 minutes.
All right. I mean, I thought maybe
sure,
it would refer to a specific game time that they're allowed to restart beforehand due to problems, or else it's considered a loss.
Oh, before. Maybe you're right. Could you elaborate on that a little bit, Shryukin? Is it before 10 minutes in game they can get a restart?
Before 10 minutes in the game timer. So they're not nearly to the 10-minute mark, but
right.
In addition to that, they also have already paused the game. So it looks like they might have to restart here. It would be a shame to see them lose this game. Well, I don't know. There we go. Agent Smith seems to have reconnected, so we can stop talking about nothing.
And let's see. The first game was won by right there, I believe.
The game has been unpaused. Play will resume. So we can get to see the starting items and see what goes on here. That Nivea skin is
pretty sweet. Oh, I just
Blitzcrank started.
I just hit a big lag spike. Sorry, guys. I'm losing you.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Alright, we lost Slick. He's probably going to have to restart. I'm not exactly sure what happened, so we will see. We have both teams look like they're moving into the lower jungle right now. I got to turn this Skype call off because it's making a lot of noise. And Purple is posturing around the brush in front of Dragon. If Sejuani comes up, they might be able to catch off this Graves and Lulu, and I've seen quite a few people. They'll rush early to this bush from the opposing side and try to get a grab. We might even see this Blitzcrank try to grab it blindly into the bush. He's coming over. Nope, he's not. He decides to go back. They're pinging blue. They're getting ready to take their jungle, and looks like all things are normal. Olaf's just going to protect, and we're just going to see a fairly normal start. Not a lot of action here, and I have the call coming back, so I'm going to answer it now. And we'll see what happens there. I accepted the call, but nothing happened. The call got dropped. Let me throw out that call. Sorry about the Skype noise. There it is. Alright, are you able to... Can you hear me, Gresh? Slick? No, we're still having problems here. Looks like Purple's going to take their blue now. The whole team comes down to help out with it. And see Sejuani is not going to smite it, which is really nice start, because then she could go right to her red and get that level extra fast. And when she as opposed to Nocturne, who did smite, now she'll be able to go right to red, level up to 3, and potentially have a really devastating gank. I cannot hear you, Slick. So you might check, see if you're muted. Still experiencing technical difficulties on my end. So we'll see as soon as he calls me back. Bot lane, we see the Varus land in his Q, actually hitting both targets. Does some pretty nice damage. So Varus took his Q first. A lot of Varuses like to grab that W because of the way its passive stacks damage. Olaf's already being zoned out by Aurelia, but he is winning the trade battle. Like I said, you see him come in with his Q and then use his Reckless Swing. There's some more true damage. There's the axe, and he's trading very efficiently right now. He pops a health bot to stay in lane. We see that Aurelia has started Dorn's Blade, so this could be dangerous for her. She's dangerously low. Olaf's going to Ghost, but Aurelia flashes out, and so Olaf's going to just get some free farm while Aurelia backs. And I think that's a great play by Olaf. I think that it was a mistake for Aurelia to count Olaf out and start Dorn's Blade. And the call is coming in again, so let's see if it works this time. Can you hear me, Slick? I am not hearing you. Nope, I'm having connection issue with that. Oh, let's see. I don't know. I think it's me. Am I the one dropping the call? And we're gonna find out. Down comes Nocturne for a gank. I don't know that this is gonna do anything. He does shoot out his little path to get movement speed, but which is actually his Duskbringer. Sorry, not his path. It's his W. And I'm going to have to restart Skype, and I just missed First Blood. Anivia kills Zyra with the help of Sejuani. It was a really good gank. I mean, Nocturne came bot, showed himself, and forced them to back off, but at the same time gave up his mid, so you got to be really aware of those counter ganks. And I'm going to try and restart Skype and put it on directed camera mode, so excuse me for a minute of silence.
Now, now. I don't think anyone is talking.
Oh, I was muted. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I could hear you. You're good. You're good. I'm sorry. I was saying that I really kind of counted Olaf out, but I was really impressed with how he's played so far. I think that with the cloth armor and the fact that Irelia started Dorn's Blade, which I'm not really a big fan of, I think that might have been a little slip up on her part.
First, let's make sure. Do we have game sound? We had a complaint in the chat talking about game sound. I have to. It is Skype. Skype is the issue. It is a pain in the butt. So sorry about that. I don't know whose end it was on.
See what happened. I see what happened. That should be game sound should be a lot louder now. Let me know if the game sound's a little too loud. I could tone it down a little bit.
I'm sorry you guys had to hear me ask if you could hear me 100 different times, but I am here now and hopefully here to stay.
I can also turn him up a little bit. Alright, it should be good, I think. For some reason, the directed cam is not working for me.
Interesting. I don't know why that is. It's on bot lane right now. As we can see, the bottom lane farming battle has actually swung the other way. Like 150 Ninjas seems to be ahead right now, and he also has the assist, where Virus has an early death and is 7 farm behind.
Right, it was really good play by Lulu keeping Graves up, and then I think Varus just came in a little too deep, and Lulu picked him off. So that's just how volatile Lulu can be. Like, her damage is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, once again, I said prior that if they played the same way, like they were behind, scrapping back, that they would be able to get themselves into this game with a good chance to win it, and it seems like they've done that.
I'm going to have to apologize if there's any, like, poor camera movements, because I've seemed to lost the ability to actually lock on to players and have any type of directed cam, so it's all manual right now, so I apologize.
If you actually click on the bottom left-hand side and manually select manual camera and then back to the directed camera, it probably will snap back in for you.
It's not doing that.
It's not? No? Well.
All right. Here we go.
I apologize.
That's all right.
But we can keep the fight down here at the bottom lane. It seems like with a farm lane, with an Anivia, that will be a more stale lane, and we have Blitzcrank, so it's always fun to watch Blitzcrank in bot lane here.
Yeah, I haven't seen any grabs yet. I may have missed one when we were having some difficulties with Skype, but I think that's really going to be a big part into it, is going to be to grab him in. Now, I don't know if you want to grab Graves into a Varus, though. It's kind of a scary thing to do.
Especially a hurt Varus.
Yeah, I mean, Graves has the burst. He needs to be close as it is. He can be hyper-aggressive with that Lulu shield. And here comes Sejuani for a lane gank, and I think they saw her. Yeah, they're going to back out. The creep was just a little too close, and Blitzcrank is going to miss the grab.
Master F said if you press escape twice, it may fix the problem, but that I have no idea.
There
if that's
it is. Thank you,
Master. There you go.
Thank you, Master F. In Ninja.
Our hero.
You are my hero.
You are the hero that we deserve. Not the and the hero we need. Regardless, Nocturne just came in, picked up that kill on Varus, and as we see a much more aggressive Blackstar this time around.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice, the Q from Lulu slowed down Sejuani, and she wasn't able to get away, and Nocturne was just meleeing her down. And it's going to be another early dragon for Blackstar this time.
Now, Blackstar was also very adept at picking up the dragon last game with the Nasus Steel. They've focused on objectives really well. They pursue objectives really well, and I think it's really going to pay off in this game. And I think that the purple team, World War I aftermath, is going to be very taken aback by this sudden aggressiveness.
Right, and I mean, I'm a little disappointed with no smite especially after he stole so many buffs last time. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I think we see a lot of interesting things going on here right now. We see the Nocturne farming up. He's got 3 kills. It seems like their jungle is a large portion of their team. They rely on their jungle a lot. Nasus definitely performed last game, and Nocturne is definitely picking up the slack this game and decides to pick up an early Cutlass. What do you think of that decision?
It's not a horrible decision. The Cutlass has it provides great ganking opportunity for Nocturne. When he comes in, he pops the Cutlass, and it not only does damage, but it also provides a slow form, which with his Duskbringer is kind of a nice, and I hate to use the word synergy because everybody uses it, but it really does synergize really well with Duskbringer.
The synergy.
I mean, those 3 kills, and he went back with like 1,500 gold. So I mean, that's huge. That's a huge early lead for Nocturne. He's one of those characters that champions that gets extremely scary. But if we look at Anivia in the middle lane, she has her ult, and she's already farmed up to 94 creep at 10 minutes or 12 minutes.
That is really impressive farm, but I think we also have to take into account that it's going to be harder for Zyra to farm just in general, especially with the pressure that Anivia is able to put on with her ult. Here comes Nocturne to the rescue and baits a flash out of Anivia. This makes her very vulnerable for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think she needed to flash there. I mean, she was definitely close enough to the turret. And I really don't think that Nocturne, I mean, he's not really tanky right now. I don't think he had any business diving her, but I think it was a great
pull by Blitzcrank, gets the Lulu, but it's not enough to finish them off. The ult by Sejuani comes in at the last second, and it looks like Nocturne is going to clean up again.
Yeah, it's just great map awareness from Nocturne. I mean, he's coming down at just the right time. He turns a 1-for-1, and possibly Lulu is very low, so he possibly turns a 2-for-1 into 2-for-1 in his favor, so...
I agree with that. Would you mind changing the lanes, please, or at least arranging them to where they match up? We have some.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Benner arranging that, asking for that in chat. Not a problem. You have a lot to worry about, especially with Skype being a pain in the butt. But,
yeah, with all the difficulties, it's my bad.
While you're doing that, I would like to point out 5-0 on Nocturne, just to illustrate the point that he is being a very pivotal part for this team's strategy. And if he gets farmed up, Nocturne is one of those characters, champions that can really devastate an enemy team just because he can be anywhere at any time, be tanky, and deal lots of damage. He does it all.
Oh yeah, he's very quickly snowballing out of control. And not only does he have 5 kills, but he also has 11 more CS than Sejuani. He's all over the place. He's sitting on a lot of gold right now. Also, he's sitting on over 1,000 gold again, and he just went back and bought. And we're only at 13 minutes. 5 kills in 13 minutes. He owns all of the kills on his team except for the one that Lulu got.
But if you look, all 5 of the kills that Nocturne got, or at least 5 assists, have ended up on Graves. This is going to be essential when you compare their gold to his gold to Varus's gold. Which turns out that he's earned 3,800 in gold, and Varus has only 3,000. So that 800 gold is equivalent of a Vampiric Scepter. It's going to put him ahead in the lane, and it's going to get him those higher damage items faster.
Oh yeah, you can already see that. I mean, he went back and he bought a BF sword already. So, I mean, it shows in his farm that the BF sword is huge. Blitzcrank narrowly misses another grab, but the Q from Graves is just doing a crazy amount of damage. And in comes Anivia. She lands the stun on Zyra, and she's going to hit her with the spears.
Holy crap.
Zyra ults her, but it's just too much. Anivia's burst is crazy right now. And that 123 farm at 14 minutes is what's doing it.
Honestly, a lot of times you see farm lead to greater CS. Once you do more damage, you get that CS, and you can end up farming the lane a lot easier. And then we see the exact opposite happening here. We see her farm lead to a lot of kills in her, well, not a lot of kills, but at least 2 kills in her lane, and the ability to CS even faster.
Yeah, Sejuani's coming down on bot to gank. I think that she waited a little too long, though. It is warded, but she's one of those champs that's fast enough to get through the warding. And her ult goes down, stunning Graves, and it looks like Graves is going to go down here. There's the Chain of Corruption on Lulu, but it does not go off onto Graves, and Graves does make it away with a flash.
I'd like to point out right now that the purple team from last game, Blackstar, now the blue team, is actually ahead about 300 gold, which is not a lot. But when you consider how far ahead the World War I Aftermath was last game, I wonder if they can play from behind. I guess we'll get to see that here in the upcoming minutes.
Yeah, and while you were saying that, top lane, Nocturne finally gets shut down. He did have his ult up, but nobody was close enough for him to ult to get out of it, so... He gets caught off by Anivia, who roams top and is just doing so incredibly well with her farm. I mean, her farm is really transitioned into 3 kills.
Let's see what we got here. Nocturne has just respawned. That means a monster is back out on the field. He's got a cutlass. He's got his Madrid's razors. He's got ninja tabis already, going for 2 daggers and a ruby crystal. He has a crap ton of items, and when he hits back out on the field, he's going to be devastating in any lane that his presence is felt.
Yeah, it's important to note how close he is to that Blade of the Ruined King right now. Down comes Sejuani again in the bot lane. I think this is a really good call by Purple Team. You know, blue up, and the grab goes off by Blitzcrank.
I think
she's just going to get melted down.
I think, yeah, Graves is going to pay with that with his life. And Sejuani is camping bot lane. You see that this is what the Nasus didn't do last game, and it's bringing the Purple Team actually ahead in the gold count.
Yeah, it's definitely what needed to happen. Graves was kind of getting out of control down there, so the jungle needed to compensate. And I like it. I think that's going to force Nocturne to play bot a lot.
And if it doesn't, I think that they're going to continue to abuse that bot lane. Nocturne with a nice ult up top, ults in on Olaf. The one thing is he cannot be disabled. He cannot be slowed, stunned, or feared. He gets away easily, and I think that was a wasted ult by Nocturne.
Yeah, I agree. Not only can he just Ragnarok out of it, but he's also extremely tanky. He's got a Giant's Belt and a Ninja Tabi already, so I mean, he's got a lot of health. Let's see, Olaf is sitting at 2,300 health right now, and that's just what he's going to build. So he's not going to be a player that you want to target down, especially with your ult like that. I mean, Irelia can't really stun him long enough to deal out the damage that's needed.
We get from Neo Cypher said should have given that guaranteed kill to Varus. I believe he was talking to the kill bot lane. Obviously, that's where Varus was, and I agree with that assessment. He's 1-3 right now, and since that kill didn't go on him, it went on Sejuani. I don't think that really helps their situation bot lane. It just means that Sejuani will continually have to come down bottom, and we see her doing that exact same thing right now while Nocturne is taking red.
Yeah, I think that Sejuani is definitely one of those champs that it can really excel, and Blitzlane's another fantastic grab. They've just been all over the place. Lulu is going to have to ult Graves, and I don't know why Varus was running from that. I think he could have just picked up the kill. And Nivea's going to come in. They dodge the stun, but he goes down anyways. And Nocturne cannot get there to save him because he wasted his ult on Olaf up top.
That's what I was just going to say, is that wasted all up top has been devastating, and I don't even know if it was going to be a good decision for him to go in and pick up that kill on Varus. But Varus did pick up that kill that time. They did not make the same mistake twice. The completed Bloodthirster on Graves is important to note, though.
Yeah, I mean, but if he keeps getting caught out by Blitz, it's not going to matter much, you know? I think that Lulu did a great job trying to keep him up, but Purple Team just responded really well to it. I mean, mid is just Zyra's just letting Anivia kind of go wherever she wants. She's not keeping the pressure on that she needs, and it's really hurting, especially since Irelia does not have teleport.
There was a huge missed opportunity bottom as well, with Varus being almost killed, and Nocturne could have just used his Duskbringer and killed him with 1 Q, but he doesn't end up doing it, and it looks like they get away with a kill there without trading at all.
Yeah, and something to note is I haven't seen Nocturne use that Cutlass yet, and he has it. I mean, it's definitely something that'll help his ganking, and I think that's why you build it early on Nocturne. So I'd like to see him start using that.
If you see, there's about 1,000 gold difference between the two teams right now, with Purple being in the lead, which I believe is World War I Aftermath. And I think that they didn't make that name easy for me to say, I'll put it that way. World War I Aftermath is ahead in the gold count, and this is right where they are used to being. If we look at last game as any example, it really depends, in my opinion, of who takes Dragon here. If a Dragon can bring the other team back into it, or can really extend the lead that World War I Aftermath has already got.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it, you could see that Anivia has almost 2k more gold than anybody else in the game. It's just...
Anivia, at this point in the game, has almost perfect farm, if not perfect farm. Yeah, I think she's actually at perfect farm right now. With 4 kills and the amount of time she's been bot lane is very impressive. I know her champ's designed to do that, but it's still impressive nonetheless. What do you think about the items that we're seeing from both teams right now? Do you think that there's going to be any problems later on down the road, or not?
I'd like to see Olaf finish an item here. I don't know if I agree with the Vampiric Scepter. He already has a lot of sustain. Maybe he should have gotten a Phage for the slow, because he started off really strong against this Irelia. If you look top right now, she's really low. The Phage makes sure that she gets slowed, and it also makes him beefy. I mean, he wants to build health. He's got the Giant's Belt. So
Really is going to go down top lane to Olaf.
yeah, he does get stunned. He pops Ragnarok, walks in, and she exhausts him, which is actually, I didn't even think about it, a terrible choice versus Olaf to take exhaust. Maybe that exhaust will help out later in team fights, but I think right now that Blackstar really wishes she had teleport to go down and help bottom.
I agree with that, and I also think that there has been a lot of missed opportunities for Blackstar right here. You see that mid lane, there's another misuse ult, and Graves gets grabbed again right in the middle of this. This is going to result in probably a double kill for Purple Team, and it's going to be, it's just going to extend their lead even further.
Master F says that Olaf's building Warmogs because it's the number one counter against Irelia. Irelia really doesn't dish out a ton of damage, though. I'd like to see the Phage on Olaf. I still think he should go Warmogs and Atma's Impaler, but I'd like to see an earlier Phage to do a little bit of damage in lane. It helps with his CS. It helps keep him safe. You know, he throws his Q. It can proc on enemies, and it can definitely keep him slowed for him to get away, especially with Ragnarok. It's just a solid item for him. Builds into Frozen Mallet, which is something that he wants later when he stacks health.
I'm also hearing from Benner, Shryukin, if you 154, says this Sejuani. I agree, Sejuani has been a big presence in lane, but her ult has really been redundant. The grabs from Blitzcrank are exactly, there you go, a flash in, gonna kill Sejuani, and nope, not going to deal any more damage before he is taken out. But as I was saying previously, before that fight broke out, is that Blitzcrank's pulls have been instrumental in pulling Graves out of position and killing him, even though Graves is ironically ahead in the farm count.
Yeah, and you know, I like the fact that Blue Team knew what was going on in the Dragon Pit, but I even with the kill, I still don't like the flash from Nocturne. I think you should have just let it go. There was nobody there. You know, the chances of smiting it are very low. I mean, he has been doing a good job of stealing dragons, but I think that's just one that you have to let go. Your team is out of position. Purple Team, or Aftermath, has definitely earned the right to dragon by taking bottom turret and killing Graves. So, and also think something to note is that Anivia did take middle turret earlier, followed quickly by a bottom turret. So now they're not only up in kills, but they're also up 2 turrets.
I always hate when people say it's time for team phase, because if you're not grouping up as a team and going and getting objectives, then team phase really doesn't ever happen. It should never happen if you're not going to go for objectives. But I'm going to say it here myself. Blue Team, Blackstar needs to push it to team phase and try to make something happen as a group, because right now in their lanes, 1v1 or 2v2 bot lane, they're getting destroyed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Aftermath has been in team phase for a good 8 minutes now, and you saw that when 4 people show up in bottom lane and just crush it. And that is the appropriate response. If you notice last game, when Varus was ahead, when Aftermath was ahead in the bottom lane, Blue did not make that adjustment. But Purple Team says, hey, guys, we're losing bot, let's go down there and let's get this under control. And they're picking up a lot of kills there, especially with that Blitzcrank. His grabs have been very clutch.
Cool Cat in the chat states that Olaf needs, or Broloff in this case, needs Omen over Warmogs. And the only reason I would disagree with that is that Olaf scales very well off of health. So he's doing more true damage based upon the health scaling. So I don't know if I agree with that, but it's definitely something that would make it more interesting top lane.
Yeah, you know, I am a very big fan of Randuin's Omen. Not only does it give you a lot of health and armor so that it's good against both AP and AD champions, but it also gives you the ability to peel. Olaf can peel with his Q by slowing, but the ability for using Randuin's Omen to peel for your team is really huge. So I do like the item, but I think that right now he needs to get the Warmogs first. The health regen on Warmogs is one of the big reasons Olaf gets it, plus it's 1,000 health, whereas Randuin's is just over half that.
Sejuani's going to get caught out here by Nocturne. I think it's a bad ult by Nocturne, not because he's a bad player. He's been exceptionally 6-2, but simply because I think they had that kill anyway.
Yeah, I agree. And in mid lane, Graves dodges a Blitzcrank pool, actually. And I think that if he gets caught there, he's in a lot of trouble because there were 3 mid.
But it looks like Blackstar is looking to push the middle here and make something happen. That Blitzcrank's going to get a pull off on Nocturne, and it's going to be lights out for Nocturne, I think.
Yeah, Nocturne's flash is down, so he can't even get over that wall because he flashed into the Dragon Pit earlier. So all these simple, small mistakes can really come back to haunt you later on. But I think that Blackstar, what they need to do is like how they caught Sejuani out. They need to have great warding, start picking people off who are out of position, and really take advantage of that. And we know that Blackstar can fight when they're behind, because they showed it last game. They were very close. They changed the momentum, and they almost won.
I think the biggest thing that's hurting them right now is the fact that they're not grouped. As you said, they need to ward well and pick off characters like Sejuani. But if you think about it, they were grouped when they picked off Sejuani, and it made it a really easy kill because of that. I think in addition to that, Anivia is just doing too much damage. This is not the same game as the last one, and it seems like there's way too much damage coming out of Aftermath right now for Blackstar to really even put up a fight.
Yeah, Anivia is pushing almost 300 CS at 26 minutes right now. She's 6-0. She has her Leandri's finished and her Rod of the Ages, which is fully stacked now. She's looking very scary. I think that, like you said, the whole grouping thing really comes into effect here. Nocturne went off on his own. He got pulled by Blitzcrank. You have to be very careful. You can't be singled out with this team comp right now. They're letting things like that tier 2 middle turret, they let it go without a fight, and they really need to fight for every inch right now.
I agree. They need to basically pick their fights really wisely, get 1 or 2 champions right off. They need to stay away from the Blitzcrank grabs, and they need to engage under tower. If they don't do all of those 3 things, they will lose the fight and then subsequently the game. And there's another grab.
Yeah, another grab into 4 people, and that's what I'm talking about. You can't be...
And a beautiful ignite by Anivia.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Olaf's just going to run in with his Ragnarok pop, so he can't be slowed, and he's just going to kite, or not kite, I guess he's just going to stick to everybody, and this is going to be an inhibitor and possibly Nexus turrets.
And possibly the game if they decide to not forfeit, but at least kind of give up the ghost here. It seems like they're pushing really strong, and it seems like Varus is going to go back, which may be the wiser decision. And then he decides against the possibly wiser decision.
We do only have Zyra to defend. She used her ult. She's not really doing a ton of damage now. She's 0-4 with over 100 farm under Anivia right now. But what I wanted to point out is this wall right here. And even the walls in the jungle, with a Blitzcrank, an enemy Blitzcrank, they like to camp here. You saw him throw the ward over, so probably shouldn't be going next to that wall. And Graves might get caught out here also.
I agree with you. I don't attribute this to poor play on the other team. They are making simple mistakes, and they are playing poorly in several instances, but Blitzcrank forces teams to make those mistakes. He can make it look painfully obvious that you're making simple mistakes, and I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah, again, another wasted Nocturnal on Sejuani. I don't think she's the right target. She's not doing a lot of damage. She's fairly tanky, and she has a lot of utility to escape, so I don't like that. I do like the Graves flash and dash, and he does catch Varus even with Chain of Corruption.
They might be able to actually turn this into a few kills here.
Yeah, I think that this is definitely, they need to take this and run with it.
And the fear on Sejuani, Lulu's poking away, and they might be able to give this to their AD carry. No, they give it to Zyra, but as we stated before, that is definitely a good thing. Oh, and another Blitzcrank pull on the Nocturne, and he's not going to get the kill. Oh my goodness, he gets away with just a little bit of health.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't really like the Blitzcrank pull, but I forgot how much burst damage that Anivia did. I mean, there were 4 people there from Purple Team, so that could have turned out poorly in their favor. And down goes the Ghosts, the Twin Shadows, to slow Anivia
The only
off.
thing that could do more damage than those Anivia E's are the fact that Nidalee spears, and there is no Nidalee. So I think that this game is going to be very difficult for Blackstar to come back.
Yeah, Olaf has a Blade of the Ruined King now, and he's been actually actively using it. I have seen Nocturne use his a couple of times now, but the Blade of the Ruined King is a really good choice against Irelia. It's really just chewing through that health, and then that coupled with all the health that Olaf does, and the ability that he can't be stunned if he doesn't want to be, so he could just run through turrets, run through the stun, and just really, he's tearing Irelia apart right now.
The real question is, if we're looking at what can Blackstar do to come back, I believe the answer is not much. But if they hold out to the point where this massive amount of gold on Anivia, over 12,000 at this point, and massive amount of gold on Olaf, over 10,000 at this point, when none of the other team members have hit over 8. So there's a 4K gold advantage for at least one of the players. If they get to the point where that gold starts to mean less and less and less, they may be able to turn it around.
Yeah, you're talking about the gold advantage, though. I mean, let's take a look at the CS. I mean, Olaf's at 240, and Irelia's 5 away from 300.
And another grab by Blitzcrank.
Yeah, and through the wall comes Sejuani, and Graves makes a bad decision to come into that. He is lucky, though, that his team is there to back him up. They respond to it properly. And I hope that Nocturne does not ult Sejuani yet again.
I don't think he will. I don't know if he's learned his lesson or just doesn't think it's necessary. But it looks like Anivia is going to get caught out here too. They do so much damage though. I don't know if it's possible for either one of them to be caught out. Oh, the passive for Anivia is going to bait them into a really bad team fight.
Yeah, and Anivia's ult, you can't not stand in that. It's just there's too much damage going down.
Anivia is such a monster. She died, and then when she was in her egg form, Irelia focused her the whole time, and she still respawned and still killed Irelia. It just a testament to how much farm and how much of a great job that Decalman has really done here.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing why Irelia was banned the first game. I think that Blackstar really should have banned her again this time.
It was a target ban for themselves. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but I don't know. Anivia. Oh, you're talking about Blackstar's ban on Anivia?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you said. But yeah, he has over perfect farm right now. It's extremely impressive considering he has 8 kills and 7 assists to boot.
We're seeing Purple's getting dangerously low right here. I think they just need to back off. Take care of take their advantage, and then go defend Baron. Because if I'm blue right now, I'm looking to push out, maybe catch somebody here, which they might do. If they catch somebody here, then that Baron is in danger. So purple team, instead of going straight to Baron, I think they could have just gone back and bought, and then came up and defended the Baron. Maybe picked up a few kills.
That Blitzcrank has balls of brass. He's backing in the bush right next to where they just caught Olaf. Are they going to take Baron?
Yeah, this Baron's going to be two-manned, undetected too. Blue doesn't even know what's going to happen. And this is the one time, actually, when Blue can actually get out there and defend it. And they don't even know what's happening.
It's really too bad because this was really one of their only chances to come back here. I think that their nerves probably got to them a little bit. Not that they were... Wow, that was odd. Not that they were overly nervous, but the fact that... I honestly am at a loss for words. They are really far behind here.
Yeah, there's not much they can do. They need to definitely keep the lane shoved out to keep their turrets and their final inhibitors safe. But really, with the super minions coming in, it's not looking good. Aftermath is closing the jaws.
And an unnecessary flash by Aurelia.
And Blitzcrank. I'm not sure. They flashed away from each other. I'm not sure what happened there, actually.
It is hard to play when you're behind. They were behind 1-0 going into this game. It looks like we're not going to get to see a Game 3. I hate to count them out. I mean, anything is possible, but they're going to have to pull a miracle.
Yeah, they're behind, what, 17K right now, so it's not looking good. You know, I think that this comes back to Nocturne played a great game, but he really needed to capitalize on being 5-0 at 12 minutes. That means you can kill basically anybody you want. You could do anything you want. And he made bad decisions with his ult. He didn't really gank as much as he should have. I think if he was bottom and snowballed that lane even more, or showed up bottom to counter gank, those kind of adjustments make. I think they win this game.
Here's the beginning of the end. I think that they just win right here on this push. I don't think they have the wave clear or the discipline right now.
Yeah, and a beautiful
Juggernaut.
Anivia wall. I haven't seen too many great Anivia walls. There's been one that wasn't bad, but that one was just beautiful. It catches Lulu out. She can't go back so she can defend. I know it's late and doesn't really matter much, but it was still a nice wall.
An old rule of thumb that my grandfather always used to say is to need an Anivia wall, you have to be alive. And they've really just been dead before. There's really been no need for an Anivia wall.
Nocturne, at least, I think he just picked up a kill just to say, hey, you know, I killed you. I don't know. I got nothing. A little bit of a pride moment there, like, at least I got you. I still think a couple things changed a little differently, and I'm talking minor adjustments, and then Blackstar can win this game.
I agree. I think that their nerves probably got to them. It seemed like as soon as the ball started rolling downhill, they just all got too heavy, and then it seemed like they gave up a little bit personally.
Oh, hey, their team name is not Aftermath. It is the Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Tube Man, not World War One.
Well, see, we were given bad information.
Yeah,
that's
we
embarrassing.
apologize. That's a much better name. But yeah,
So we're also getting your mom SC, Joe Nagy saying that stick around for the highlight reel from last night's game. Lex will be playing it here shortly. And once again, so very sorry that we've been calling them by the wrong name the whole entire time. No disrespect to them. They've played and they won. I think that them winning is going to be a far better reward than me actually remembering what their name was.
Oh yeah, and it's important to note the way that the tournament is set up, that we have a pool system right now. So it's like a round robin. Every team plays every team. The top 2 teams get seeded into the actual tournament. And so 2-0ing somebody is extremely important, because if there is a tie, the team with the most wins, and that's wins of like game wins, gets to move on. So a 2-0 almost guarantees them a seat in the next tournament. As long as they win like one more game, then they get a seat into the tournament.
Are you talking about? I'm going to call them Aftermath anyway. World War I and Aftermath. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. And
I
on the
agree.
other end of things, if Blackstar could pick up a game, that's just as important there. In the game last night, actually, the teams don't even have names yet, but the losing team actually picked up a game, which is extremely important. It doesn't matter that it sucks they lost, but at the same time, it's important that they picked up that game, because that could mean that they get placed in the tournament.
Another interesting thing, wasn't the aftermath of World War I World War II?
Yeah, I think so.
So could they just not be World War II?
But
Confuses me.
Let me pose this to you. If it weren't for World War II, would we have wacky waving, inflatable arm flailing tube men? I don't think
Wait,
so.
one second. We're getting some special insight here by Meligol saying, "I regret nothing about the pride kill at the end." And you know what? Don't regret it. It was a good pride kill. We recognized it as soon as we saw it.
I've been linked the tournament. I'll throw it up here real quick so everybody can see the
Alrighty.
format, if I can get it. So as you see, there's 4 groups, I believe. Yeah, A through D. Each group has 4 teams. The top 2 teams, which because of the wins, they both actually we're only in pool 1 right now, huh? We haven't even started pool 2 yet. So this team is actually in second place, the one that won yesterday, because they gave up a game. They won 2-1, whereas the wacky waving arm men won 2-0. So that gives them the edge that they need. It puts them in first place right now for the tournament. And there's still a lot of games left, but we'll see.
It still looks like they're only in match 1, as Shryukin says. Do we have any more games to cast today? It seems like these were 2 very good games, very exciting games, and I mean, I don't know. Do we also have some tomorrow? You have the information on that, not I.
I heard that there are 2 tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure.
Alrighty, let me check real quick.
So does anybody have any updates on the stream? You have Cincy LOL 2. Any updates on that game? Did they get a caster?
It looks like Team 6 and Team 7 are going Saturday after 10 p.m., and then there is one game scheduled for Sunday as well. I don't know if that's final, but that is the information that I was given.
Okay. It appears they did get they got a caster. So the game must still be going on over there, so if you guys want to hop over there. If not, I'm going to play that video that your mom SC made, since he's been hounding me to do it. And
he makes good stuff. Actually, let's kind of give a shout out to your mom, SC, for it. Give a shout out to your mom, because he made the backgrounds. He made the university, the UC League of Legends backgrounds you see in the lovely overlays. So we appreciate him for that. They look very sharp. And if you need any work done, contact that man.
Yeah, does a fantastic job. If you do your own stream, he can do an overlay for you for that. So
also, I'd like to give a shout out to my casting partner here, Lexicon, the Man Grease himself. You can check him out on Twitch TV/ManGrease.
Oh, I guess that means I have to give you a shout out also.
You don't have to.
We have the one, the only. There's probably more people with his name than I know. Slick. He goes by Liquid Slick. So Twitch TV, Liquid Slick. He's not affiliated with Team Liquid because he is that much better than them. So I'm just putting that out there right now. Sorry, Liquid.
That's the reason. I am not part of a money-making organization.
Yeah, too good.
Because I am better than them. So, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check him out. He likes to stream some games. He plays League. He plays StarCraft. And Master StarCraft player right there, Protoss. So you need a little help with your Protoss play, you could check out the Slick. The
All
Slick
right, hey,
one.
sounds good. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll hopefully see you again this weekend. It's